Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Healthy Mind and Body Radio Show with Michael Harris, PhD. We are committed to helping you create a type of life that is worth living. Our guests are authors, speakers, healers, and industry experts who are living their dream. Join us each Monday and Thursday at 1 p.m. and start living your dream.
Good Thursday afternoon, and welcome to Healthy Mind and Body Radio. I'm Michael Harris. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics on this planet, sleight of mouth patterns. And if you think of, if you've ever seen close-up magic or close-up card tricks and stuff like that, it's pretty amazing what those people can do just by distracting and using misdirection. Sleight of mouth patterns is kind of the same thing, only the implication is that it's trickery, but it's not. When NLP was first created, one of the people that they modeled was Milton Erickson. And Milton Erickson, it was absolutely a genius at grammar. And from Milton Erickson, they created what is called the Milton model, and it's a series of grammatic syntax and presuppositions that people use. And Erickson used it in his hypnosis to linguistically create space, to create possibilities and stuff. And Richard Bandler is credited with creating sleight of mouth patterns. His grad student and one of the foremost developers in NLP, Robert Dilts, actually wrote a book called Sleight of Mouth. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be going through these sleight of mouth patterns. And what I ask you to do, and I've gotten several emails, I want you to think about a limiting belief that you have. A limiting belief would be something that you believe about yourself or you believe about someone else that in some way limits your choices. For example, let's say you think that being a girl is bad and you're a girl, or you're too tall, you're too short, you're too old, you're too young, you're too whatever. That's an example of a limiting belief. Anything that is telling you that because of X, you can't have the type of life that you really want, and I think that's complete BS. Okay, the other thing, so what I want you to do is take a couple minutes and think about something that you think is limiting. You know, I'm bald-headed, and if I had a belief that, you know, in order to succeed or in order to have a happy life, you have to have hair, I'd be in big trouble. Either that or I'd be going to the hair club for men and having them take hair off of my backside and, you know, planting it on my head. And, you know, you don't want to be that guy that has butt hair. I just saw that in a movie. It cracked me up. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing this sleight of mouth pattern, and I want you to listen to it. But also, I want you to listen to this podcast a couple of different times, because I use sleight of mouth patterns when I'm working with people over the telephone. I use them in my office, and it is one of the ways to get really, really rapid belief change. And the way that works is that if you take two beliefs or two concepts and you put them into the same space, the one that is well-formed, the one that has the greater intensity, is the one that is going to win. And this is the same process that happens, unfortunately, with little kids. Somewhere between the age of 3 and about 7 or 8 years old, little kids that believe in Santa Claus, they get enough empirical evidence in which, you know, they believe in Santa Claus, and then they got somebody who's telling them that there's no Santa Claus. And what happens is that those two beliefs collide inside of their mind, and generally what happens is that the kid from that point forward never believes that there's a Santa Claus again, which is unfortunate. So what I'm going to do, before we start changing your limiting beliefs that you're too tall, you're too short, you're too fat, you're too this, you're too poor, you're too wealthy to accomplish your goals, I want you to think about for a moment what belief that you would like to have in its place. You know, like, oh, you can have anything that you want that you're willing to work for. You can have anything that you want because you woke up this morning and got out of bed. That would be a more useful belief than believing that you can't have whatever it is that you want because of X, Y, Z. So a limiting belief is something, you know, X means or causes Y to happen. So just take a second or two and think about a limiting belief that you have. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a series of questions, and I'm not going to answer them. Okay? I'm just going to ask the questions, and I want you to give yourself the opportunity to mentally evaluate or mentally ask yourself this question. Okay? And there's several of these questions, 19 to be exact, and I'm just going to go through them. And it's going to kind of like seem overwhelming, but that is the exact purpose of the Sleight of Mouth pattern, is to take that limiting belief that you have and just absolutely squish it so that you can have a different, more empowering belief. So let's get started. Okay. So question 1. What is the source or intention of the belief? What is the positive purpose of the intention of this belief, this X that you have? Okay, question 2. What other belief about this belief could change or enrich the perception of this belief? Question 3. How can you evaluate this belief statement itself according to the relationship or criteria that's defined by the actual belief? Next question. What is a longer or shorter time frame, a larger or smaller number of people, a bigger or smaller perspective that would change the implications of your current belief into something more positive? Next question. What is the method or thinking process that you used to create this belief? How did you create this belief in the first place? Next question. What larger elements or classes that are implied by this belief but have a richer, more positive relationship than the ones stated in your current belief? Next question. What smaller elements or chunk sizes are implied by the belief that have a richer or more positive relationship than the ones stated in the current belief? Next question. What other element or what other context at the same exact information size could be used to show how this belief could be different now? Next question. What is another word for one of the words that is used in the belief statement that means something similar but has more positive implications? Next question. What other relationship, which is analogous to the defined belief but has different implications, what other story could you tell about this belief that would be more positive? Next question. What positive or negative effect of the belief or the relationship to the belief is defined by that belief? Next question. What cognitive perceptions of the world are necessary to have built this belief? How would you need to perceive the world in order for your current belief to be true? Next question. What is an example or an experience that is an exception to the rule defined by this belief? Next question. What other outcome or issue could be more relevant than the one stated or implied by the current belief? Next question. This happens to be one of my favorites. What is the ultimate consequence for continuing to believe this belief? Next question. What is the criteria that is potentially more important than those addressed by the belief that has not yet been considered? Next question. What is a different model of the world that would provide a very different perspective on this belief? Next question. Who are you, or what does this belief say about your present identity that could be stated in a more positive way? And then the last question, which is another one of my favorites. How is this belief exactly the reason that you can now get what you want? And I realized I went through these kind of quickly. And that's kind of the purpose of going through these questions at a fairly rapid pace, because what I want you to do is I'm taking different worldviews and different context views and jamming them all into the same space and pretty much taking your belief and pounding it into dust. And when you're talking about a limiting belief, you really would like something other than having that limiting belief. And that if that limiting belief is keeping you from having a happy life, or it's keeping you from having a happy relationship, it's preventing you from reaching out and really going for the things that you want in life, then I'm perfectly okay with beating the tar out of it, because I think that everybody out there should have the life that they choose. So I know it's kind of a short show today, but I'm okay with having a short show if it's the one that made the biggest difference. If you have any questions about Sleight of Mouth, just call the show, 818-668-5406. You can always send me an email to drmichaelharris.com. If you'd like to read more about Sleight of Mouth patterns, there's lots of stuff on the internet. I highly would recommend Robert Diltz's book, Sleight of Mouth, and Michael L. Hall, who is the founder of Neurosemantics, wrote a book called Mind Lines, which is an expanded version of Sleight of Mouth. And my recommendation would be that you learn all 19 of these before you get to the 149 different variations of L. Michael Hall's. But he likes to really dig down deep and explore all of the possibilities. In my opinion, Sleight of Mouth patterns is one of the easiest ways to pound one of your beliefs into absolute dust. I do recommend that you have something in its place, so that when you demolish a limiting belief, that you have something to put in its place. I've seen people in college, they go to college and they think the world is a certain way, and then some unknowing professor shatters their belief or shatters their identity in such a way that they just kind of drift around. Sometimes they quit school, sometimes they get it back together, but it's not really a good idea to run around shattering people's beliefs without having something worthwhile to put in there. So take some time, listen to the podcast, find out what limiting belief that you want to work on, but make sure that you go through the 4 steps of this is, You've identified the limiting belief, and generally what people want is the opposite of that. Let's say that you have a problem with people with freckles, or people who are really tall, or people who are really short, or people that are in a different ethnicity than you are, and you have some type of a problem. That is a limiting belief. Well, what would be the opposite of that? The opposite of that would be that people that are short or tall, or have red hair, or have freckles, or have one color eye different than the other, are friendly or welcoming or whatever it is that you want to put in there that will make your life more enhanced. And I want to thank everybody for being on the show today. I got a lot of people on the chat, although the chat is pretty quiet. On Monday, we're going to be talking some more about hypnosis, and we're going to start working a little bit more into sports performance and human performance. Sports performance work and mindful meditation work the same way that the current athletes at the Olympics are using it, but you can use them in your daily life. I want to thank everybody for being on the show today, and I will talk to you soon.
Welcome to the Healthy Mind and Body Radio Show with Michael Harris, PhD. We are committed to helping you create a type of life that is worth living. Our guests are authors, speakers, healers, and industry experts who are living their dream. Join us each Monday and Thursday at 1 p.m. and start living your dream.